All right. What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Day 24. Silent Hill 2 Remake Cam Hack. What's up, Goku? Hey, Steve-O. How's it going, Nora? What's up, Legate? Tassadul. Hirimi. Hello, hello. Ancient Oleander, good to see you. How's it going, friends? Hope you're all having a wonderful night or day, whatever time it may be for you, however you may currently exist. I hope it's good. What's up, Temporal Fry? You also as well. Thank you, Oleander. Been doing somewhat better with health. Got an appointment for the cardiologist on Friday. Hopefully get my my heart issues under control. And then I've got another appointment for checking out my nerves. Hopefully get some of that squared away. Those are like my main two things that are kind of making health rough right now. Anxiety and everything has been much better, much more under control. Blood pressure has been much better, much more under control. It's amazing how much just a few months of eating better, exercising, getting out more, vitamin D supplements so that I'm not deficient, sticking with some medications for a while. It's made a big difference. Made a very big difference. So at this point, I'm just like, all right, last couple of issues. If I can figure out why my left half of my body keeps going numb and why my heart keeps going crazy when I lay down to sleep. If I can get that squared away, get that figured out, get it solved, and move past it, we'll be in good shape. Hey, what's up, Naps with Cat? I've also got cats napping right next to me. In fact, hold on. Will this reach? 1 second. Look at this absolute loaf. It's just too dang hot. Poor Vinny has melted. He's just melted. My poor baby. That's all you get. A little bit of melted Vinny as a treat. The sweet toasty child. Oops. Sorry. Trying to move my mic. Eric DeFord. Welcome back. Thank you so much for the 31 months. Thank you. My alerts have been super messed up today. I don't know why they haven't been... Did it actually play? Did it play where anybody could hear it? Is that just on my end? Did the fart face happen? Because I had alerts going off, or an alert go off during the Phasmo stream earlier. And like the text popped up, but the alert itself didn't play. What's up, Acoustic? Yo, Nub, did you go all the way through Ascension? And is your past vids on YouTube? I did. I kept up with Ascension live for the entire first month. And then it was so bad, I put it to a community vote if I would keep up with it daily after that. And community voted against it. So you can watch the whole first month. And then the first finale, when the community voted to stop keeping up with it daily. And then I also went back and re-watched all of it once the whole thing finished. And then I went back and watched all of it again when they did the alternate, quote-unquote, alternate storyline, where viewer choices, quote-unquote, viewer choices were different. So, yeah. I went through Ascension 3 times minimum. Because during the first month, I was also doing weekly recaps. So that first month worth, I went through like 6 or 7 times total. And then the entire thing from start to finish, I did 3 times at least. Ad? Goddamn. I wish I could just turn ads off, to be honest. I really wish I could just turn ads off. Twitch does not give streamers that option. Like, it's basically let ads run or run them on your own schedule. But I don't want to have to sit and get distracted from what I'm playing and what I'm doing to be like, oh shit, it's been an hour, time to run an ad. So I just let them run whenever they run. But honestly, if I could just turn them off, I would turn them off.
Thanks.
Eric, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Blush Hottie. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, thank you. Ad ended already? Okay. Last I heard was at least 3 times. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We went through the entire thing day by day, every single day live for the first month. Went through all of that, did weekly recaps every Friday for the first month. Watched the entire thing start to finish when the entire thing ended. And then watched the entire thing start to finish again for the alternate story. Did it ever get arguably good? No. No. The whole thing was trash from start to finish. Like, the words Silent Hill are never mentioned. There was a jam maker. I guess, like, you can pick out little moments here and there, right? You can pick out the berry picker, jam maker as just sort of being weird and sort of funny because of how weird it was. We did get an orgy, though. There was a cult orgy that happened, and there were explicit sex scenes that the audience did not vote for, but the CEO of Genvid was so proud of them that he posted them on Twitter anyway. There was the little girl who slaps her mom, Faith, who slaps her mom, Rachel. That was funny. And then she hit the gritty going to the stairs because the animations were so bad. And Tassadul showed up, the drug dealer blood mage. Tassadul was the best part of the whole thing. That was pretty much it. So, we had everything included. All of those, like, even vaguely interesting or entertaining scenes because of how weird or stupid or bad they looked. Like, stuff that made me laugh. There was probably, like, 2 or 3 minutes worth of entertainment out of what, 11 hours worth of show that I watched like 3 times. It was fucking awful. Oh, at the very end they did add a fishing mini game. Remember the fishing mini game? Good times. Good times. No, not really. Ascension was shit. It was just dog shit the whole time. Excuse me? A fishing mini game? Yeah. See, some of you are going to have to go watch the Ascension VODs now. You're going to have to go see how hype I got over fishing. No. Appropriate response. Trying to preserve my innocence. Hey, at the very least, if you do go watch anything from the Ascension VODs, go watch the last, like, 10 minutes of the finale. I put a lot of effort into that. I did a whole thing. I did a whole End of Evangelion parody with AI singing Comme Suser Todd. It was great. It was great. An AI version of Hirimi singing Kom Susertad, just to be perfectly clear. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. But yeah, Ascension was so fucking awful. It was really bad. Just remembered what happened to that streamer Silent Hill game? That's what we're talking about right now. That's Ascension. It was horrible. Everyone agreed it was horrible. It ran its course. It ran all the way through. It didn't get canceled halfway through like a lot of people were expecting it to. The entire thing was proven to be a scam. We have tons and tons of evidence that it was a complete scam. In every aspect. And then they bought a bunch of awards for themselves to make it seem like it was an award-winning, groundbreaking, interactive, whatever. Because it didn't win awards. They bought awards. They won awards for AI, even though they never used AI. No Razzies? No. They got 2 Webbies for AI after getting pissed off that everyone was accusing them of using AI. Webbies, if you look them up on Wikipedia, are heavily criticized for their pay-to-win policies. In other words, you just buy awards, which is what they did for themselves in categories for AI. Metaverse and AI. I said, you can literally watch the whole thing on my channel. You can watch all of it unfold from day one, from launch. Why do people love making the worst possible movies from video games? It's not even a movie. It's not a movie. It is just... It was a drip feed animated TV show that they did their best to try to convince people that it was interactive. It had a season pass. It had customizable avatars that could show up in the actual episodes. And every day would be a new scene. So you'd log in every day, and the developers would show up on camera and talk about it for 20 minutes. And then you would watch a 2-minute scene if you were lucky. The shortest scene was 48 seconds. And the longest ones were around 2.5 minutes. They would show that every day until you had a full episode. And then they did that for months. And we watched all of it. And you can watch me watch all of it. And slowly lose my mind over the course of a couple of months. On YouTube. So yeah. Have fun. Nub, why do you torture yourself like that? Because I'm a Silent Hill fan. Psychological torture is kind of my thing. And I pride myself on being the most thorough, knowledgeable Silent Hill fan in the world. If something Silent Hill exists, I will explore and know all of it. It doesn't matter if it's good. It doesn't matter if it's bad. I pride myself on knowing all of it. Ascension had Silent Hill in the title, so I experienced all of it. It's archived forever. It's in my brain. It's in the history ledgers. Exactly. I also played all 500 zones of Book of Memories. I am still to this day the only person with a full video series showing all 500 zones of Book of Memories. Nobody else has done that. Nobody else has uploaded that. Nobody else has streamed that or made a YouTube video about it or anything like that. If you're ever curious, what does it look like to go from level 1 to level 500, all the way through beginning to end of everything that Book of Memories has? You can go to my channel and watch that. It's the only place you can watch that. I don't know why you'd want to watch that. Not very many people have. Those videos have like terrible view counts. Because nobody gives a shit. It's Book of Memories. But I still did it. For the sake of being thorough. And burned the game afterwards with a Silent Hill candle. That's also true. That's also true. When I finished it, I literally melted my cartridge in a candle. On camera. That's also part of the VODs. Anything of value in Book of Memories, by the way? The credits music. It's got a cool version of Love Psalm. That's about it. It's got one cool song. Rest of it is bad. Using the Saint Candle in real life to get rid of a haunting. Oh yeah, the Holy Candle. Although, it could be stated, and I even made a little video kind of joking about it, that I made things worse. Because at the time, remember, I finished Book of Memories. I finished the full 500 run back in 2021? 2022? Early 2022? Something like that. This was way before the series was announced that it was coming back. This was way before the Konami transmission saying that there were new games coming. So I was like, I melted Book of Memories, and I was like, let's treat this like a ritual. So that any future Silent Hill entries are not as bad as Book of Memories. And then the next thing that we got was fucking Silent Hill Ascension. I was like, God damn it, I cursed us. I failed the ritual. And then we got a whole stupid ass TV series, streaming series, about failed rituals My life's a joke. The credits themselves sound like a highlight too, because they let you know that it's finally over. No. Book of Memories doesn't work that way. It's not like you play 500 zones and then you get the credits. You get credits at the end of the 21st zone. After that, every random number of zones afterwards, like 8 to 15 zones after that, you fight a boss. And sometimes that boss will be a Steel World boss. And whenever you kill the Steel World boss, you get credits again. So, I mean, you get credits like dozens of times doing all 500 zones. And they don't mean that it's over. The indicator that it was over, when you do your zone select, there's like a little piece of background artwork, and you start at like land above ground level. And then as you start going down further and further, selecting zones, the artwork scrolls down with you. So you're going further and further underground. And at zone 500, in the deepest, darkest, most underground parts of that artwork, is a picture of Mira the dog from the Silent Hill 2 dog ending. That was my indicator that it was over. That was your reward for doing all 500 zones. Is a little fucking picture of Mira the dog in the control room. Does it even let you skip credits? Yeah, you could skip cutscenes and credits and stuff like that. But again, the credits music, that love psalm mix, was one of the few, like, cool things. Oh yeah, 2012. 2012. It was called the Month of Madness in Konami's marketing. I was there 1,000 years ago. Thanks, Gandalf. Actually, that was Elrond. Excuse me, that was Elrond? Legate. Building World. It was the, was that wood? The wood element levels? The clown shoe circus music? Warp, 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 warp. It's weird that we went from that to now where we actually have good stuff coming. I'm telling you, I was talking about this before. From my perspective, and from a lot of fans' perspective who'd been following the series since the start, and like 2012 to 2015 was fucking Silent Hill Revelations, horrible movie. Silent Hill Downpour, arguably terrible game. I know it's got its fans, and I know people are going to get mad at me, but I'm saying this as somebody who's spent a significant amount of time playing that game, learning about it, researching it, just the same way as I do with everything in the series. It is not a good game. It's okay if you like it. I like lots of bad things too. But it's objectively a bad game. Downpour, Silent Hill Revelations, Book of Memories, HD Collection. HD Collection, weirdly enough, has its defenders and stuff now too. Again, objectively bad fucking game. Bad ports. You can watch my worst of the worst video where I do a full playthrough of that and point out absolutely everything wrong with that. But 2012 was an awful year, and then there was nothing for 2 years, and then there was PT, and everyone was like, yes, PT is awesome, this is scary, it's different, it's Kojima, who's like, he's crazy and makes weird fucking awesome games. Even if he doesn't have anything to do with Silent Hill, like, he's probably going to make something awesome. He's getting all these really great people to come on the project and help him. Guillermo del Toro's going to be there. Junji Ito's going to be there. This is going to be great. Snatched. Snatched from us. And then nothing. Until 2022. 7 years later. Oh, I'm sorry, not nothing. Apache slot and 2 slot machines. Over the course of 7 years. It's crazy that we have, like, good games again. Even stuff like Short Message, which I'm not a huge fan of, was still, like, clearly more of an attempt and an effort than stuff like Book of Memories. Alex Fire King, welcome back. Thank you so much for the 62 months. Appreciate the love and support. Thank you, thank you. Understand why people shit on the HD collection, but honestly, it's the closest many people could or can get to playing the original games. That's not a good thing. I understand it's the only way a lot of people have to play Silent Hill 2 and 3. That is not a good thing, and that is still Konami's fault. That's not like a worthwhile defense for HD collection. Being like, well, it's the best people can do. Yeah, that's Konami's fucking fault that that's the best they can do. There's PC ports for Silent Hill 2 and 3. Silent Hill 4 is already on Good Old Games. It's already on GOG. Why not 2 and 3? There's a whole shit ton of PlayStation 2 games on PlayStation 5. If you sign up for PlayStation Plus or whatever, the premium thing where you get the big game list that you can just download and play, you can play every fucking Siren game. You know what's not on there? Silent Hill of any kind. Even the first one. There's a bunch of PS1 games on there. You can get Resident Evil 1, and they're adding 2 and 3, I think, next month. You can get fucking Dino Crisis on PS5, the original. There's a ton of PS1 games. Silent Hill 1 is already on PS3 digitally, not on PS5. Like, accessibility is the biggest problem with this series. And HD collection, like, slightly filling in that accessibility gap just because it's the only way a lot of people can play 2 and 3. That's not a win. That's not a point for HD collection. That's awful.
does give me hope, though, since they're doing a Metal Gear Solid collection. We might get a Silent Hill 1 at some point, hopefully. We're going to need the next several Silent Hill games that come out to be the best-selling Silent Hill games ever, by a long shot, for Konami to consider doing a Metal Gear Solid style collection. Because in terms of sales numbers alone, the Metal Gear Solid franchise is 6 times bigger than Silent Hill. So far it seems that way with Silent Hill 2 Remake? No. Silent Hill 2 Remake did sell very good, but it is not selling anywhere near Metal Gear Solid numbers. Over 2 million copies sold for Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's selling well for Silent Hill. But that's nowhere near Konami's other franchises. Silent Hill is one of the lower end of Konami's overall franchise in terms of sales numbers. We're talking the next games need to sell like 4 or 5 million copies. Silent Hill F is going to need to sell like 5 million copies. Silent Hill 1 Remake is going to need to sell like 5 million copies for Konami to even remotely consider stuff like a Metal Gear style collection. eFootball sells more than Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid? True, by a lot. By a lot. There's way more football fans, soccer fans, than there are stealth action fans and psychological horror fans out there. Everyone knows the name Silent Hill. It's still very, very... It feels like everyone knows Silent Hill when you're a part of the fandom. But when you break outside of that, like, I have to explain to people what I do for a living, right? And I can remember talking to several people. I have to talk to doctors about what I do for a living, going and doing these appointments and stuff. When we were moving to this house, we had people who came and like helped us haul away all the old junk and furniture and stuff that we weren't going to bring when we moved out of our old house. And I was sitting there talking with the movers and trying to like tell them what I do. And everybody knows what Resident Evil is. If I say I play horror games for a living, if I say Resident Evil, people know immediately what that is. Silent Hill? Not so much. They might be like, oh, isn't that that one movie from like 20 years ago? Like, they might barely know about the movie, but people outside of the fandom really don't know Silent Hill. Like, it is not nearly as recognizable as something like Resident Evil in terms of horror, and it's not nearly as recognizable as something like Metal Gear Solid in terms of Konami. Could be worse. Imagine if they linked your job with Ascension. I mean, it's kind of funny thinking about it because some of these people probably look me up. I tell people, again, this is my job, so like I have to tell people like what I do, and they can find me online, and I can just imagine them going to YouTube and just clicking on a random video. And it's probably something from Ascension or whatever. There's been like 50 Resident Evil games and movies. The movies really helped Resident Evil with the popularity, but even just the games themselves are much bigger sellers, much more popular than Silent Hill is. Do you think, Nub, Konami will ever reach the point of Capcom of having in-house good dev teams? Because they seem to be investing in the Osaka studio, but we'll have to see. You can see they're still rusty when it comes to in-house dev teams due to how long it's been since they developed proper games. We're still a long ways away from that, I think. There would need to be a lot of big changes within Konami as a company. Because the CEO is still more focused on, like, e-soccer, formerly Pro Evolution Soccer, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And slot machines, and all these other things that Konami does that are profitable. Video games are just now starting to be get a little bit more attention at Konami. That's why we're getting Metal Gear Solid Delta. That's why we're getting, you know, a bunch of new Silent Hill stuff. They're testing the waters on those franchises again to see how profitable they can be. And we're going to start seeing them try to squash the middle of how much money do we need to invest and how much profit can we make. Because they want to invest the least amount of money and get the most amount of return. So they're still finding that balance, and if they find a sweet spot where they're successful enough and make enough money off of it, they'll keep doing it. If the games get too expensive to make and don't sell enough, they'll stop doing it. Because it's much easier for them to profit making, you know, slot machines. Not just like video game spin-off Pachi slots. They make regular ass slot machines. Like if you go to Vegas and sit down and play a slot machine, try to look for the manufacturer, because it's about a 50-50 shot that it's probably Konami. If you go to Japan, you can go to health spas and gyms and things like that that are run by Konami. They do more than just electronics and games and media. Konami does a lot of other things that are much more profitable and require much less initial investment, which has kind of been the current CEO's whole mindset. They were very focused on mobile games for a while because they're very cheap, they're very quick to create and churn out, and you just jam a bunch of microtransactions in them and they just print money. So they were trying that for a while. Like I said, we're lucky to be getting the stuff that we're getting right now. It'll never happen, but do you think Konami, if they were bought by Sony or whoever, it would actually help? It'll never happen. It's not even a question of if it will help or not. Konami has so many other like so much other revenue stream. Like, their company's already worth a ton. Yes, Hetmar. Like, they're a huge company. And video games as a whole for Konami accounts for maybe 20% of their overall company's worth. They could completely and utterly remove every last thing that they do involving the video game market and still be a hugely successful company. Like, even if they completely stopped doing video games entirely, they would still be a hugely successful and profitable company. So it's not like they would ever need to be acquired by Sony. They would never need to sell that. Like, it just wouldn't happen. They would have to decide to spin off and sell their IPs. Now, selling the IPs could potentially happen if Konami ever did get to a point where they decide video games are just not a profitable market anymore. But we're not there yet either. Clearly, they're still trying. Clearly, video games are still a huge market. Would it be odd to say that Silent Hill is an underrated series in horror? I mean, it definitely is. It definitely is. And, like, you can't even be upset. More than half of the franchise is, like, questionable to bad at this point. We also have some absolute fucking masterpieces, gold standard for psychological horror video games in the series. But that's like 5 games out of the entire thing. And yeah, it was a standard 20 years ago. So, yeah, these days, Resident Evil is kind of the big go-to horror series. And then you have everything else kind of under that. Under the Resident Evil umbrella. Pun intended. But we've still got some stuff to look forward to. Fatal Frame, Lesser Degree, Siren. How long ago did the last Fatal Frame game come out? When Maiden of Blackwater, right? How long ago did the last Siren game come out? Those are even lower on the totem pole than Silent Hill. I would say, like, if you really want to talk about what most people consider the next big horror series after Resident Evil in terms of popularity and sales, it's probably The Last of Us, which I'd argue even how much that even fits in, but in terms of just sheer numbers, people who know what that is, a lot of that thanks to like the TV show and stuff like that, but in terms of like recognizable IP, it's like Resident Evil, The Last of Us, maybe Dead Space. Although we're several years after the remake of that even. No one's argued Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's, I would argue, is higher up there. It, like, more people know what that is. More people have played that. It's been merchandised out to hell and back. Like, there's still Five Nights stuff coming out. Silent Hill has to be bigger than Dead Space? Maybe now. Maybe after Silent Hill 2 Remake. Because 2 Remake did do well. Like, it kind of put the series back into the spotlight. But again, Silent Hill was dead for 7 years before the new stuff that just started coming out this past year. You know what? Like, fucking Poppy's Playtime. I can't go anywhere without seeing fucking Poppy's Playtime stickers and merchandise and shirts. Like, that shit's everywhere. Five Nights is everywhere. Resident Evil stuff is everywhere. Like, you can go to a fucking Walmart where they just have random IPs printed on shirts and stuff like that, and find Resident Evil, Poppy's Playtime, Five Nights. You know what you don't see? Like Silent Hill, I love it, you love it. I know that's why we're here. But in like worldwide numbers and levels of notoriety and appeal, Silent Hill is pretty niche. Konami has a vice grip on their IP's merchandise. Online ceramics. Online ceramics. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you can Google. Let's play Silent Hill 2. Grove Sleeper, thank you for the raid. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, just getting started. I've been ranting. I've been ranting for the past 45 minutes. Prior to Silent Hill 2 Remake, I remember when Konami's only plan for Silent Hill was making pachinko machines. That was a sad time. Yes, it was a sad time. It was even more sad because I played the Pachi slot. A lot of you know An Eternal Enigma. When I first moved here, I went and visited Enigma because he owns one of those. He owns Apache slot. I've played it myself. And it's... on the one hand, it's terrible. On the other hand, it has so much effort put into it. Like, the machine itself has all these little moving parts and like light up graphics, not just on the screen, but on like the machine panels and stuff. It would switch from like fog world to other world and change the lighting. There was this like metal fence part that would like separate and close with like a light up glowing eye behind it. There was so much fucking effort put into that machine. It was nuts. And it was so frustrating to see all the money and effort that went into developing a fucking slot machine. It's not even a Pachi slot machine. Pachinko machines, Pachi slot machines usually have little silver balls. That's the pachinko element in a pachinko machine. Is those little silver balls that you play with. The Silent Hill 2 Pachi slot, quote unquote, is only called that to get around Japanese gambling laws. You put coins in it and you pull a lever. And then reels spin around and then you watch a scene and then it spits coins back out. That is a slot machine. That's all it is. But it's well crafted. Like the physical machine itself is impressive. They made a whole bunch of unique cutscenes of James victoriously killing a boss and speeding off in a speedboat like it's the end of Resident Evil 4. They completely omitted Angela. They just cut her completely out. No mention whatsoever. Never shows up. Not even in the character page list. Eddie's there. Laura's there. You go to a bar with Laura and order alcohol as one of the regular scenes that happens on the slot machine. The slot machine, the Pachi slot, whatever you want to call it, is fucking wild. But yeah, there was a time where that was like all we could expect from Konami. And like the prospect of getting new games ever again was just dirt. It was in the dirt. Oh boy. But we've got new games now. We've got this game. And man, it is a breath of fresh air. After a long, long time of bad or mediocre or slot machines or nothing at all, it's nice to have something like Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's not perfect, but it's a whole lot fucking better than pretty much anything we've gotten in a very long time. It's damn good. All right. It's day 24. Day 24. Silent Hill 2 Remake cam hack playthrough. We're finally in the labyrinth. We've only just arrived here. I've already clipped in and looked around at all the mannequin legs in the hallway last time. We've got a massive cube puzzle that we're going to be solving here. Can already see the little platform for where that's going to extend out. All the places, all these little doors and things that are going to open. Even if the cube puzzle breaks, it doesn't matter. Because we can just teleport James where he needs to be. Which apparently can still happen, even after all the patches. The cube puzzle can still potentially break. That was a launch issue. Lots of people were getting soft locked here by a bug where the cube would not rotate the correct orientation to let you progress. And apparently under certain circumstances that can still happen. It's much more rare, but I think it can still happen. With the alchemical symbols for the platforms. Love the occultism in Silent Hill. Oh yeah. Nice little Silent Hill 1 kind of callbacks with the alchemy symbols. Because that wasn't really a big thematic part of Silent Hill 2. But alchemy in particular was a huge theme for Silent Hill 1 and the occultism aspect. Oh, she's already in here waiting for us. And animated. Even before we can see her. Can you look at her back? Sure. even clip in. Floral pattern on the chair. We've been seeing recurring floral patterns as references to Mary. Very appropriate. That would be on the chair that she's sitting in here. Oh, she's like waggling her foot around, just waiting patiently. The bloody hospital bed. You can already see the silhouette of a person in the stains. Very much like many of the hospital beds and things we were looking at, even as far back as the apartments. But all throughout Brookhaven. The IV itself, 0.9% sodium chloride injection. Hold on, I need my phone for research. Because I like to be able to look up a lot of this stuff. Sodium chloride injection used to replenish lost water and salt in your body due to certain conditions. 0.9% specifically is used for diluting or dissolving drugs for intravenous, intramuscular, or subcutaneous injection. Speaking of which, just to check the detail level, can you tell what type of light bulb is being used? I mean, I'm no light bulb expert. Probably a canned one? We haven't been able to verify that just yet. Hopefully in the hotel. Dude, the pillow. The pillow sitting in the corner off the bed? It's already been used. James already used it. It's even sort of folded, indented. I wanted to see if this hallway on this side of the door was here at all. Nothing else rendered around. Maria's room. Little stool off in the corner. This is another one of those scenes that I think is a little bit better set up in the original. Just for some minor detail things. Like, you have to do the rotating cube puzzle. Not as involved as it is in the remake, but a similar version of it in the original Silent Hill 2. And it opens up this corridor that leads to this room. So it's like already nonsensical, breaking reality, how you're even here, like what this room is supposed to be, who is supposed to be the one behind bars, right? Is kind of the idea behind this room, this setup. So Maria's here. There's a door to her side of the room. You've got the bed and the IV, stuff that was there in the original as well. And then on James's side, it's just like the stool. You had a couple stools like this, and a hole in the wall. Not a door, not like a proper door like this that actually makes sense for how you enter this room. It was a corridor that had to be opened up by rotating a giant face cube. Like, crazy nonsense stuff. It made the side that James was on feel more detached from reality. And it made it feel like he is the one behind the bars, not Maria. She's got a door. There's like a clear entry and exit from her side. Whereas for James, like, it was not a normal door the way it is now. Little details, little changes like that, where I just kind of liked the way this stuff was set up in the original. A little bit more than how they handle it for the remake. Let's zoom the camera out, get a little different perspective. Maybe not that far out, but a little bit different perspective for this cutscene.
Maria? Maria! I thought that thing killed you. Are you hurt?
Not at all, silly.
But the thing... It stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator and then...
James, what are you talking about?
Just before. Don't you remember?
James? Honey? Did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
Maria?
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
He's just floating.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
Doesn't matter who I am.
The bars keep moving closer and further away, depending on the camera angle. What would be the default camera?
See? I'm real. Don't you want to touch me?
I don't know.
Well, if you happen to make up your mind, I'll be waiting.
I'll find some way to... I'll come back, I promise.
You can really see all the ways they made that scene happen once you pull the camera back. All the stuff you're not really supposed to be able to notice. Oh yeah, and then she hums. Theme of Laura. You get that Silent Hill 2 intro music. But yeah, the way that the camera is supposed to be much more zoomed in, you don't ever see what like James is sitting on when she goes and sits down after standing up and touching James through the bars. You don't normally see James's arm sort of like hesitantly reaching up towards her that way. You can see that to make the bars and perspective between them look correct when it's like super zoomed in, the way it would be on default, they move the bars themselves around just to make the shot more cinematic. Boink. I did it. I'm here. Let's go. What happens if you click on the door? I mean, let's find out. Sequence break. I'm gonna have to reload.
Maria?
She just instantly teleports to the bed. Bed seems bigger now. Yeah, they're changing the scale and perspective of everything for what would be the default camera shot. Nope. Chair popped back in.
Mary.
So yeah, if you just clip right in there and interact with the door, it just skips straight to this. Oh. At least her teeth are in shape. But now she's got the discoloration, the sores on her skin. Little bit of her eyeball clipping through her eyelids. Good stuff. There's blood just smeared all over her, like on the boots, on her stockings. Yeah, it's low poly, Maria. You can definitely tell by the fingers and the bracelet. We noticed that happening in some earlier parts of this playthrough when we first encountered Maria, and we kind of broke where we were supposed to be when we first meet her on the Rosewater Park docks and everything. Oh. It looked like the model snapped in. The bracelet did. But not the fingers. The eyes are not clipping through her eyelids anymore. She is smiling. I don't know if I would call that a smile. It's kind of a neutral face. When we get to the part where she's upside down in the 2 Pyramid Head fight, her model will be smiling. Little spoilers for whatever future part that's going to be. Cam Hack episode 36. Okay, let's reload and not sequence break. This basically skips the whole labyrinth, right? It really does. It really does. So, speedrunners.
Maria? Maria! I thought that thing killed you.
Let's watch this
Are you
again.
hurt?
Not at all, silly.
The normal camera.
But it stabbed you. There was blood everywhere.
Stabbed me? What do you mean?
It chased us to the elevator and then...
James, what are you talking about?
just before.
You still kind of see that he sits on nothing,
James? Honey,
but it's just out of frame, so you don't
did
really
something happen to you
pay too much attention to it.
after we got separated in that long hallway?
Here's the bars
Are you
actually
confusing me with
moving.
someone else? You were always so forgetful.
Rather than just the camera pan,
Remember
the
that
bars
time in the
themselves
hotel?
are moving.
Maria?
You said you took everything. But you forgot that videotape we made. I wonder if it's still there.
How do you know about that? Aren't you Maria?
I'm not your Mary.
So you are Maria.
I am. If you want me to be.
All I want from you is an answer.
Doesn't matter who I am. I am here for you, James.
I really like the performances of the remake, but
I'm real.
there's certain things that don't quite come across. The original, like, pretty much exactly what you just said, Diablo Lord. This variation on it is not bad. But there's some
You happen to
aspects
make up your mind.
of the original that just don't come across here.
I'll be waiting.
There's less definition between Salome's Mary and Maria voice. In the original, it's clear when you're hearing the sweeter, nicer voice of Mary and the more sultry voice for Maria. And you have Maria slip into some, like, legitimately menacing sounds in some of the line deliveries. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, who I am. And I feel like Guy Seehee sounding not just confused, but desperate in his performance. Luke is definitely, like, the better actor. There's no questioning that between Luke and Guy. But I really like Guy's performance in that scene. How desperate he sounds. All I want from you is an answer. Like, it's not just confusion. Luke plays it like he doesn't know if he's awake or not, which is thematically, I guess, more in line with kind of the dreamlike, nightmare-esque feeling of this whole part of the game. But I don't know, he doesn't have that desperation in his voice the same way that Guy did. Salome doesn't have that really menacing sound. Like, you don't get those nice, sweet Mary tones into really, like, menacing sounding Maria voice. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I like the scene. I definitely like little additions like this. Little, practically an Easter egg, having her hum Theme of Laura and stuff like that. Although I'm still a little torn on that. I like hearing the music being used in the game. Like, outside of just a soundtrack. You hear Silent Hill songs on the jukebox, and it triggers James's memory. And on the piano later, we're going to play Magdalene when we get to the piano in the hotel. But it's also a little weird having the music sort of exist in the world of the game. Like, as a fan, I love the music and I like hearing it. I like seeing the little references to it. But it's strange. It's Promise, actually. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Promise. Meow, 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 meow. You're right. But yeah, the actual scene itself is not bad. But there's a little bit of the cinematography that's not quite there. The lighting of the original, the like really harsh dark shadows over Maria's eyes is kind of lacking here until the very last shot where the door is starting to close and she's like out of focus, still sitting in there. Yeah, not a bad take on the scene. It still leaps and bounds better than Troy Baker and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn in the HD collection. Oof. Oof. You want to talk about a bad take on this scene? Go listen to that version. Go pull that up on YouTube for a bit. All I want from you is an answer. Ooh. Mary Elizabeth's performance was really bad. She's a great singer. She's a great singer, but she herself in interviews said that she thought her voice was too deep for Mary and Maria. And she's right. Like, she's a wonderful singer, but she doesn't have the range for Mary and Maria. Like, her voice does not fit. Troy Baker, weirdly enough, I think does have the range to have done decently for James, but he went a whole different direction with it. He decided to do it like very, I don't even know, just breathy and it sounds like a stage play, like a musical. He sounds like Phantom of the Opera. He sounds like George Hearn in Sweeney Todd, which is just like a really weird sound for James Sunderland. George Hearn is the best Sweeney. I agree, but he shouldn't be James Sunderland. Theater Kid James. That is Troy's take on it. It's Theater Kid James. It was very odd. Very just not fitting. And just from an audio, like, again, before I started streaming, I was a musician. I know a lot about audio and recording and voicing, in voice recording in general. And just whoever was in charge of the audio for the HD collection seemed like they had no idea what they were doing. The quality of the recordings was so bad. Nothing was like looped correctly. None of the voice clips were like trimmed correctly. Wasn't Mary Elizabeth the director of the VA? She was, but I'm not talking about the direction for the voice acting itself. I'm talking about whoever was the audio engineer who actually sat there and processed the audio clips of the actors' voices and put them into the game. Had no idea what they were doing. I don't think she did any directing. She did. She did. Both she and Tom Hewlett did. And I don't doubt that they tried, and I don't doubt that they even got some halfway decent attempts. even if the tone and everything they were going for felt so misplaced. But then the mixing, the actual, like, usage of the audio and how it was implemented into the game was so badly done. And it would go out of sync with the video. Sorry, I'm just ranting about HD collection now. Troy Baker's heavy ass breathing into the mic. Like, even stuff like that. You can do heavy breathing for, like, okay, the character is running and he's tired and now he's breathing. If I was the person in charge of the audio, if I'm directing the actors, right, I would have them run in place for a little bit to actually get winded, right? And then you record them breathing heavy, not enough to get super winded where they're actually gasping for breath, but enough to where they are realistically breathing heavier on top of acting the heavy breathing, you know, on top of that. And you would record more than like 0.4 seconds of it. Because that's what it sounds like they did with HD collection with Troy's breathing. It sounds like they got about 0.4 seconds of it and they play it forwards and then reverse it and play it backwards. And then they have 1 second of audio that they just loop. Like, just get 6 seconds of heavy breathing. So it doesn't sound exactly the fucking same for each breath, forward and backward. Choices like that were so weird. Jewel 165, thank you so much for that brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you. Very much appreciate the love and support. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the sub. Enjoy them emotes. Hijinks being hired to do the collection is baffling. It was, yeah, that was, again, Konami didn't want to invest a whole ton of money because Silent Hill numbers are just not that good in terms of all of their franchises. Metal Gear Solid is like 6 times bigger, at least, even back then. Especially back then, because that would have been before the 2.5 million sales that the remake has done. So it's like, for something like Metal Gear Solid, where that franchise is so much bigger in terms of how profitable it's been for Konami, they're willing to spend a little extra. They're willing to get Blue Point, have them reverse engineer some games, and make like halfway decent collections. Silent Hill, they were getting the cheapest treatment Konami could get, and it really showed. try to rotate to each side and kind of look at everything here a bit closer. And beta code. I mean, again, the missing source code or the unfinished code that they were given wouldn't have even been an issue for somebody like Bluepoint, who didn't use source code to make Metal Gear Solid HD, you know. They just took retail copies and reverse engineered them. It's a lot more effort. It's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more time consuming. But it completely circumvents needing source code of any kind. Speaking of closer, or closer, we will find those boys again soon, or mandarins in this case. They are very similar, but there are distinctions between them. Mainly the arms. Mandarins have mouths at the end of their arms with tentacles inside of them. Closers have spikes, these long bone spikes. The ends of their arms are like sewed and fleshy stumps, and they have big bone spikes in them. Was Pyramid Head's bedroom in the remake? The room that in the original you would get the great knife from, with all the hanging cages and stuff? It is in the remake. In my first playthrough, I actually got Pyramid Head stuck on accident so that I could take my time and look around that room. Cool seeing there's only so many things rendered in. These levels behind the doors, like each section of the labyrinth is here, because you can see the items and like pick up. All the interactables are rendered in. All the light sources are rendered in. Cool to see. There we go, the rotten area map. Now we start drawing out these areas which is a little bit funny. I love that. I like when characters draw their maps in Silent Hill games, because this is the type of stuff that I was doing when I was a teenager and playing these games for the first time. Because a lot of times in the original Silent Hill games, like, if you missed where you pick up the map, a lot of times you couldn't go back and get it once you went past it. So this is exactly what I would be doing. I'd have my sketchbook or my notepad or something next to me, drawing out maps as I go, marking off doors just like this. So I like seeing it when characters do this themselves in these games. Silent Hill 4, all the maps are hand-drawn by Henry. He's just taking out his notebook and drawing down like everywhere he's going. But it also makes the times where you're supposed to pick up a map feel a little bit weird, right? It's like, did we really need to pick up a map of Brookhaven? If James could theoretically just draw it like he does here? Do we really need a map of the town? If James could just be drawing it as he goes? James should have been a cartographer, missed his calling. He doesn't even have a flat surface. Look how neat and straight those lines are. Should have been an architect. I'm still so blown away that they took the time to put in the flashlight effect for the bugs to have them react to light, and didn't include the same effect for the moths in the moth room in Woodside Apartments, or in Blue Creek, I guess, but because the original Silent Hill 2, the moths would follow your flashlight whenever it was on, and then when you turn it off, they would all fly away. Quit it. And it's like, clearly they have dynamic lighting effects and make it interact with bugs. Couldn't they just do this same effect in reverse for the moths? Also, does turning your light off when you're in the bugs just spawn bugs in to attack you? Is that what happened? Or is there always a bug there? I think there's just always a bug there. I'm like, that would have been cool if they actually reacted that way if you try to go by with your light off. Was that the sound of a mandarin? It was. It was. Because, I mean, we have the graded floor. So they're sort of foreshadowing the mandarins that are going to be under the floors a little bit later. Nothing rendered in the drawers. Was really unnerving because their attacks are quite strong. Yeah. And the mandarins, I feel, are the sort of like... I'm trying to think of a good comparison. They delay their attacks compared to everything else that you've fought up until them. Like mannequins and nurses and everything like that, they telegraph their attacks, and pretty much as soon as you see them winding up an attack, you just do this and you're fine. You just do this. But the tentacle, the little like tentacle spear from the mandarins, is delayed just enough where if you try to dodge the moment you see them starting to do it, it'll still hit you. They sort of train you on the other enemies for dodge timing and then delay it just enough with the mandarins to get you, even if you've kind of gotten used to dodging. Sneaky. It's just like Dark Souls. Dark Souls does the same thing, where they'll put you up a bunch of easy, obviously telegraphed moves that are a bit easier to dodge or parry. And then you go up against things that they raise their sword up and then they hold the sword up for much longer than you think they're going to, so that by the time you've already parried and missed or rolled and your iframes have stopped, then they hit you. Also, PT Fridge. Remember PT Fridge? This is 100% a reference. There's so many things in this game that are visually or through audio meant to invoke memories of other games in the series. And this is absolutely meant to invoke, like, visuals from PT. Although PT, you could stand under the drippy blood and look up at it, and it would drip down onto your camera. Don't get that detail here. We don't even get little blood drops on our jacket. In Downpour, you could stand under drippy blood and it would turn your shirt, it would turn your jacket red. Not a lot of positive things I typically mention with Downpour, but their wet cloth physics and textures and visuals were actually fairly good, especially for the time. And the idea that you could stand under, like, blood and it would change the color of your jacket, get in Murphy's hair, that kind of thing. Also, having something hanging with the rope where you have to cut or burn the rope in order to make it fall, that is also a downpour thing. There's a point in the game where you're in a church that you have to get a giant chandelier to come down by either cutting or burning the rope holding it up. I just like seeing the map get drawn in as we go. Get in here yet. Try not to sequence break too much here. Just explore and look at stuff as we go. Hey, Kikyo. Here's our mandarins. With Mary's mouth, you can see how similar the skin looks. After having looked at Maria in the when she's laying on the bed and she's got the signs of illness and discoloration and stuff on her face, how similar it is to Mary and to the mandarins. In your opinion, who's the best written Silent Hill protagonist outside of Team Silent games? Remake James. Does Remake James count? Well, crap, you got me there. It's not a Team Silent game. Ito and Yamaoka were here. How about non-Team Silent games that aren't remakes or reimaginings like Shattered Memories? I mean, that narrows it down to Travis from Origins, Alex from Homecoming, Murphy from Downpour, girl from Short Message, Maya? No. What was her name? Amelie? I've already put that game out of my brain. Anita. Thank you. Does Ascension count? Even if we're counting Ascension, it's definitely not the answer. Honestly, out of those very limited choices, Alex Shepard. I would say Alex. Norman Reedus from PT. I would say Alex. Like, Homecoming has a lot of bad writing, but it's not really in their characters. It's the story and the way that the narrative, like, the plot itself is sort of drug along. The characters themselves are decently written. Homecoming is one of those ones where if they changed some aspects of the story, if there were things that had been cut that had managed to stay in the story. Yeah, Elle was supposed to be a grown-up Laura. That idea wouldn't have gone well. There was also the Homecoming was supposed to end with Alessa and Josh fighting over Toluca Lake like a Super Saiyan battle. That wouldn't have gone over well. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. There's a really good podcast with one of Homecoming's original writers, Patrick J. Doody, and there's some cool stuff that Patrick talks about in the podcast where, for example, there were originally supposed to be 5 founding families, not just 4, and the other founding family was supposed to have been the Wheelers. Like, Deputy Wheeler is such a big part of the story of Homecoming. It would have made a lot of sense for his family to have been involved in the founding of Shepherd's Glen. And apparently his family got cut. So there's a lot of stuff like that that would have been interesting to see. Travis from Origins is in the very intro of Homecoming, giving Alex a lift. That was not originally supposed to be Travis. That was an entirely different character who was supposed to be a hunter who lived out in the woods around Shepherd's Glen. And there was like a whole segment of Alex out in the woods with this hunter. And they basically did away with that and just repurposed the character model into Travis Grady for kind of a pointless tie-in. There's a lot of weird stuff when it comes to Homecoming's development. Like, it changed a lot over the course of its development. There was a lot of writing stuff that got changed. There was a lot of stuff that had to be cut. The game itself they were originally planning on doing as a trilogy, Yeah, same thing. Same thing as Origins. Origins was very, very different. Shattered Memories, yeah, was also very, very different. Shattered Memories went through several iterations. It was originally Bram's PD. It was going to be about police officers from Bram's who had PTSD, and like the therapy segments were still going to be a thing, but it was a completely different idea when it was Bram's PD. But they kept the therapy idea, and then the second iteration was called Silent Hill Cold Heart, which there actually is a full pitch like brochure that you can find that's online now. Where that was Cold Heart was going to be all around an original female protagonist. There were going to be survival elements, trying to survive in the cold. You'd have to find food and like warmth and clothing on top of all the therapy segments still being an aspect of it. It's a really cool idea, really cool concept. But Sam Barlow and his team kept pitching these ideas to Konami, and Konami kept rejecting them. And Sam was like very confident in his ideas, his concepts for the game, and really wanted to make it, but Konami would just not greenlight it. So he went through a lot of the people at Konami to see what things had already been like preemptively greenlit by Konami executives. What were the things that were just sort of sitting in the Konami vault just waiting to be made that they'd already greenlit? And one of those, all the way back then, this was like 2005, was a Silent Hill 1 remake. And that was how Shattered Memories got made. Sam pitched it to Konami as a Silent Hill 1 remake, just so that he could start developing a game, so that Konami would give him funding and he could start getting his team to work on these ideas that they had, because they liked the psychological aspect of it and the therapy aspect of it. Even if they couldn't make the game they wanted to make, which was Bram's PD or Cold Heart, they wanted to use those ideas for something. So they basically told Konami, we'll make a remake of Silent Hill 1. And then they made Shattered Memories, marketed as a reimagining, just to make those sort of therapy and game changes based on how the player looks and explores things, and having the snowy winter environment, all these ideas that they had from their previous two ideas. And implemented them into Shattered Memories. Is that the original chair and TV? It's pretty similar. Not exact, but pretty similar. Definitely like getting the chair in front of the TV, foreshadowing going. Again, these sort of visuals that are set up to invoke the idea kind of make you think about that scene, even if it's not perfectly identical. Yeah, Oleander, I know what you mean. Is this the Forget-Me-Not blanket? It is! This is the Forget-Me-Not blanket. This is the blanket covering Mary in the back seat of James's car at the start of the remake. Changes in insurance prices. Small changes can have big effects. Allison has something. Insurance. Now we're talking American Horror. Yeah, no kidding. We've seen these newspapers already, though. City unsure the problem. Thanks for the spoilers. Ooh. You're welcome. I know you're joking, but there are people who legitimately will complain about spoilers. Like, brother, nobody twisted your arm to click on the stream. Go play the game. Go play the fucking game. It's just like people on the subreddit complaining about spoilers. Like, don't go on the fucking subreddit. It's that simple. If you don't go to the place where spoilers are, that's not up to other people to censor you. They don't know you. They don't know what you've seen and what you haven't seen. You do. You're the one who's in control of your life and what you are exposed to. I didn't like chat spoiling games for me when I play them for the first time. So you know what? I stopped playing games for the first time on Twitch. Because that's a me problem, not a you problem. Ooh. Oh, hey. Anybody want some rare tuna? Or some Colombian specialty fruit, raspberries in extra heavy syrup? from Divide Cans. Light bulbs? Light bulbs? No light bulbs. Yummy. And it smells. And James just reaches right in there. I'm probably gonna need this lighter fluid. Better reach into the guts. Do not sell to children. Caution. Inflammable. What do you mean inflammable means flammable? I'm not trying to look at your chiseled fucking Chad jawline. Caution. Inflammable mixture. Do not use near fire or flame. Extremely flammable. Harmful or fatal if swallowed or inhaled. Maine Fire Department. 4 fluid ounces. To open child resistant. Trying to clip through this man's finger. To open child resistant spout. Insert pointed object there it is. Insert pointed object under tip and lift. To upright position. Fill lighter slowly. Do not overfill. Wipe lighter and hands before igniting. Close spout after use. 4 fluid ounces. Fire starter, lighter fuel. I'm your fire starter. Wicked fire starter. Pew! Wow. Danger. Harmful. Flammable. You can see it for like a second. There it is. Danger, flammable, harmful or fatal if swallowed. Keep out of reach of children. Pretty much the same warning and stuff that's on the back. the side. Contains petroleum naphtha. Use with care to avoid uncontrolled fire. If swallowed, do not induce vomiting. Call physician immediately. Keep out of reach of children. Made in the USA. Factory certified. Content. Something. Use with care to avoid accidental fires. Keep out of the reach of children. If the skin becomes irritated, flush with something water, plain water, with salt, and use wire brush to clean. Probably shouldn't clean your skin with a wire brush. Red text on black background is hard to see. Something results, best results. Something and extra. Okay. A lot of text on it. And nothing rendered in the freezer, by the way. We did look. Oh, there's some red salmon. Some white tuna. All the little cans of food hidden here in the guts. Floral pattern mug. Nothing in the microwave. Same atomics stove that we've seen over and over. Check all the drawers and cabinets. There's been a lot of instances in this game where they hide something in one particular way, like one time, and then never again. Perfect taste pancakes. Strawberry swirl pancakes. Made with real strawberries. Who wants pancakes? And butter cake. And cookies. I love that they kept butter cake and cookies. Like, recreated those background props from the original. There's a lot of stuff in this game where they just kind of remade some of the original assets, even if it was random little things in the background. Same for the macchia tea, another box of butter cake. The Beetlejuice door. Just draw it on the wall. Again, I like stuff like this. You've got that real sense of detachment from reality. Like, logically, the place that you're in doesn't make any sort of sense. How everything is laid out, structurally, how everything connects. And then, just like, yeah, blood painted into the shape of a door on the wall. Why not? Speaking of which, I'm still surprised Beetlejuice 2 came out. So am I, to be honest. It wasn't bad. I remember watching it. Rachel and I watched it. And there's not much I remember about it. It was okay. I didn't hate it. It had moments. It definitely didn't live up to the original. Bloody door drawn on wall, totally normal. Random flowers in vase that are still semi-healthy looking. Yeah. They could be fake. The funeral music was a bad joke, though. Oh, God. What's the name of that song? The Cake in the Rain song? That scene went on way too long. Oh, the Banana Boat song. MacArthur Park. Thank you, Silent Chills. That was in the original. The ones where the choir boys are singing Come Mr. Tallyman. The door has a disease. This whole part of the labyrinth has a disease. This is the rotten area. Will there be a light bulb? No bulb. I love watching the bugs where they just shrink and disappear. Come on, James, crawl on your belly through the bugs. Tinkerbell, thank you so much for the 32 months. Welcome back. Glad you could be here tonight. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're doing well. $32 months already? And I mean, you've definitely been around. You've been following the channel for a lot longer than that as well. Glad you're still here. Still got a lot of people in our community who've been hanging out with us for years. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Whether you can sub or not, I just appreciate all the familiar folks coming by, hanging out. So we've looped back around this way. Go back to the suspended cage room. Did we get any? Oh yeah, we got the lighter fluid. I have a bad habit of like examining stuff up close and then not actually picking it up. I just had to double check. Could clip through there, but trying to avoid sequence breaking unless there's something really specific or interesting that I want to check on or test. Go ahead and save again, just in case I do sequence break something. Or the game crashes, or anything like that. Be gone. Okay, that side's already opened. Side's a dead end. Great seeing the map just fill in a long section. Go in lurk mode, they got me opening tomorrow versus my usual closing at 2 a.m. Ooh, good luck. Try and get some sleep if you can. Rest up as well as you possibly can. Back when I used to work restaurants and stuff, they used to have me doing that all the time. Same thing, I used to work at a game store when I was living in Austin. A little local game store. Having to close one night and then open the next. That shit should be illegal. Like, yeah, let me just completely flip around my entire sleep schedule for one shift. Oh, well, that's a cool shot. James peeking through the broken wall in the shadows. Moments before disaster. different books. Anything unique? I think most of the books are going to be things that we've seen already. Although there is still one particular book that I know is in the game, but I don't know where it is, that I was hoping I would just find while we explored, and I never came across it. Actually, there's a couple books like that now. There were 2 books in the prison cell, the cultist prison cell, that I was not able to find. Black Magic from the Abyss and Feast of the Succubi. I was not able to find those. I found every other book that's referenced in the original prison cell, except for those 2. And I've seen from data miners, there is a book that lists Michael Kaufman as the author. But I've not found it in-game yet. We found the one that was written by Charles Holloway, a reference to the Holloway family from Homecoming. But I haven't found the one written by Kaufman. So excited for H.D. Kaufman? Man, I just hope they get some good actors. I'm so excited for that game, though. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see all the monsters. I just want to see all the creatures. I really hope they still get Ito back to consult the same way he did for this game on enemy designs. And to finally see some Silent Hill 1 monsters in better models and resolutions. UFO ending song HD. Silent Hill, 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 Hill. Silent Hill, 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 Hill. Kaufman book. Found that one back in the hospital when I played this. It was near some pamphlet thing. I was so excited over it, but my husband didn't get it. Never played the games before for him. Ah. How did I miss that in Brookhaven? We spent so long looking at all the things. And I'm assuming you saw it without a cam hack? You were just playing normally? It wasn't something like super hidden? Because when I was in Brookhaven, I found the History of Lake Toluca by Charles Holloway, but I never found the Kaufman book. Oh, it's the Lady of the Light book from the Historical Society. Among the local legends is that of the Lady of the Light. Same text, same story. You can actually examine this and like read it in the Historical Society. Then they got it copied here. Bible in Latin. We found that in Brookhaven as well. And a few other spots. It was also in the cultist prisoner cell. Spending more time trying to find the creepy painting you see in the OG right before you leave the hospital. Looks like a creepy peeled face on the left-hand wall. You don't mean the door that looks like it has a face after the 2 Pyramid Head fight, do you? Something in OG Brookhaven? There's a few textures that look like faces that a lot of fans have like gone through and analyzed and overanalyzed over the years. I especially like the face on the wall or the door before the long hallway with Mary giving her speech before the final boss. When she's talking to James. Somebody actually sent that to Ito on Twitter, and they were like, "What's with this face on the door? What does this mean?" And Ito was just like, "You think too much." That was his whole response. You think too much. And I mean, honestly, true. We definitely think about these games probably a lot more than what was intended. But that's kind of the fun of them. Big part of what's kept them around for this long. Still in the minds of fans, even after long droughts of nothing. Fan discussion really kept this series alive when Konami kind of all but abandoned it. Kaufman book is Life and Reality. Found that one in the pamphlet thingy while snooping around. No cam hack needed for it though. So like right when you walk in, where all the little drug pamphlets, like near where you pick up the maps are. Just love the imagery in these as well. The bed split in half. Hole in the wall just bleeding and oozing. Inside parts of the bed are just rotted. Just like melting. Squelch. There's the lighter wick. Just has the word wick written on it. Nothing on the back. Red pamphlet holder thing along with some other titles like Rinov. I saw the Rinov thing. Aglopatus. I don't know if I saw Aglopatus. I don't remember seeing an Aglopatus reference. It's crazy how much attention I've been trying to give to all of this. And I'm still missing stuff. Stuff that you apparently don't even need a cam hack to see. But thank you for letting me know, because eventually I will do a proper in-depth story playthrough of this game, utilizing cam hack to show certain Easter eggs, not like everything the way that I'm doing in this playthrough, but showing off the more interesting and relevant stuff. So at least I know where to look. The other side of that fence for that room. Nothing else hiding. James doing his best Henry Townsend impression. What the hell? And the way he reacts, I imagine this is supposed to be his cubicle. Because James is, like, supposed to be a clerk by profession. It doesn't really specify what kind of clerk. But based on his reaction, I'm thinking he's supposed to be just sort of like an office clerk. Lady. Stop. So let's look at all the things. Statistics of annual revenues to statewide prices from 1976 to 1982. Task 1. Stop. 1 price. Stop. 2 price. Monthly task diagram. Thought it was more of him coming to the clerk's office area again and again for seeing his wife in the hospital. Well, we do have a nurse wandering around in here, which kind of gives the hospital side of that. It doesn't seem to be like hospital-related stuff on the desk, though. If it were like a receptionist's office. For a hospital or a clinic or anything. Triple growth market diagram. Yeah, this feels more like what was probably James's own cubicle. One of those things they don't even really get into, even in the OG. Like what James did for work. That was something kind of added through supplementary materials and things after the fact. Even in the game manual that came with Silent Hill 2 when it released, in the character profiles pages, James's occupation is protagonist. So it wasn't until later stuff like the Silent Hill Chronicle, the Lost Memories, Silent Hill Chronicle Guide, and things like that. We do have a medical book here, though. The medical ethics book. We've seen this in Brookhaven and a bunch of other places. Sitting in the box over here. Repoison, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. A Burger, Lita Phoenix, Mechanical Mammoth, Mombi X, and Maxine. Enjoy the subs. courtesy of Repoison. Thank you so much for the support, Repoison. Thank you, thank you. Speaking of hospital reception offices and things like that, I've got an appointment with a cardiologist on Friday. I've been going in and out of clinics and hospitals a lot the last few months, trying to get my health in order. So, 'cause I've been having some pretty severe medical problems. Doing a lot better lately, but still have some concerning things, issues with my heart. So hopefully we'll get that squared away, figured out on Friday. But this doesn't feel like, even with the one medical book, because this book has been like everywhere. This just seems to be one of their favorite prop reuse books. And even with things being like for-profit healthcare system, which is the way it is, unfortunately, in North America, just since March, I've gotten $6,000, $7,000 worth of medical debt, almost. That's a lot, especially considering what's been done. That's for an ER trip when I thought I was having a heart attack or a stroke, because the whole left side of my body went numb. My chest was like feeling like it was going to rip apart. I was having trouble walking and seeing. Got to the ER. They had me sit there and just wait for probably like an hour before they even saw me. They took my blood pressure. They did an ECG, an electrocardiogram to check my heart, which came back normal. They gave me one pill of Ativan and a prescription for hydroxyzine to help me sleep, and sent me home. And that was $2,000. And that was just my first trip back in March. Since then, I've had to go back to my actual primary care doctor and get blood work done. I've had an ultrasound done on my leg to check for blood clots and deep vein thrombosis. Bunch of stuff already done, more stuff happening in the future. Like I said, cardiologist this Friday. Who knows what all that's going to be. I've had 2 nerve conductivity tests done. One for my lower body, one for my upper body. Basically, every time I have to go see a doctor, it's just like, okay. I spend like 3 minutes getting looked at. I spend like 2 hours waiting. And then like 3 to 10 minutes talking to people. And then like less than 10 minutes actually having something done. Like the ultrasound was done in like 5 minutes. The blood work was done in like 5 minutes. The ECG was like 1 minute. And it's like, okay, that's $2,000. That's with insurance, by the way. That's with insurance. It would be close to double. I'd probably be already over $10,000 of medical debt if I didn't have insurance. That's with insurance. So yeah, please subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube and you're getting ads, just know it might be a little bit frustrating, but you're helping me pay these bills so that I can stay alive. And I really, really, really appreciate it. I like being alive and making videos and playing Silent Hill for you. So I can't tell you enough how thankful I am for all the love and support. But yeah, the medical system here is an absolute joke. Yes, and paying for the insurance on top of. Luckily, I mean, however luckily you want to look at it, the insurance I get is through my wife. It's through Rachel. So her job provides insurance, quote unquote provides. You're still paying for it. Got our iron key. And yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff that even with insurance, you have to pay for out of pocket. Like I said, I've been having issues with the left side of my body. My arm, my leg, chest, back, face will hurt and go numb and stuff like that. Which is some of the stuff that we've been trying to get squared away, doing all these tests and figured out. Clearly more than just like panic attacks and anxiety stuff going on. Because a lot of that has already been pretty well managed, but I'm still dealing with these other issues. And one of the things that my doctor was telling me was like, you should go in and get some x-rays. And she told me what kind of x-rays to ask for. But for the x-rays, they're not covered. They say to just go walk in to the place that does them. It was the same place where I had my ultrasound on my leg for blood clots. They're like, just go in and tell them the x-ray that you need. You don't need an appointment. You just walk in. But if you just walk in and ask for shit like that, you have to pay out of pocket. And they're like $500-$600 each. And apparently I needed 2 x-rays. One for my upper half of my spine and neck, and one for my lower half. Around my waist. So yeah, just go walk in and give them $1,200 and get your 2 x-rays done. Absolute fucking joke. So I haven't even been able to do that. I haven't even been able to get that stuff done. I'm hoping when I see the cardiologist, they'll be able to do what they need to do, or I've got another appointment that I have to make that might be able to do it, so I don't know. Lift to fill. Anyway, sorry. I know I slip into the serious medical talk too much. But, you know, it's my life. It's the stuff that's on my mind. It's the theme of the game, so it's relevant. I mean, I made that same joke when we were in Brookhaven and I started ranting about how expensive healthcare is here. Even when you have insurance. Come on, James, just grab it. It's right there. I know it's boiling acid tub water, but it's right there. Just do it quick. Do it real fast. You'll be fine. There's towels right here. Just grab the towels. Use it like a net. And scoop it out of there. Some problem solving. Come on, buddy. Just like burning a rope to untie it is not optional. Use the toilet tank lid. Yeah, seriously, something. Use the pipe. You have a pipe in your inventory. It's in your magical pocket. Fish the thing out of there. Or just go back to the room where we need to burn the rope and shoot it with your shotgun. Cut it with your chainsaw. Every time I try to bring logic into this, I hear DJ Bobby Ricks in my head saying, "There's rules you gotta follow." Downpour actually in my head rent-free. Every time I try to bring logic into it. It's Silent Hill. Stuff don't make sense. There's rules you gotta follow. And then Korn plays. I wanna keep the peace. I wanna figure it out. Do we actually see the water draining off? Oh, that's a nice effect. James also doesn't work on logic right now, to be fair. True. James is not in a normal, logical state of mind. reality around him is not in a normal, logical state of existence. It's fine. Also, there's still... whatever. There's still boiling acid water in there, isn't there? But now we can scoop out the lighter. It's fine. There's less of it in there, so it's fine. No, not the John Wick. The lighter. We already looked at it while it was in the tub. James does not fancy finger when holding the lighter. Did look like there was writing. There it is. Keep away from children. Hold the lighter vertically in your hand. Close lid to extinguish. You know how we found the little Easter egg for Eddie on his ice cream? Saying, like, daily nutritional amount for gutless fatzos. I kind of wish all these things that we've been looking at that say, like, keep away from children, just said, like, keep away from Laura. Keep out of reach of Laura. Keep out of reach of snot-nosed little brats. Once again, take a look at this before dropping it. Inside is actually rendered as well. Even if there's nothing in here, a lot of times when you clip into an object like this, you just see right through it because there's no texture for the inside of objects. This one does have, like, the inside all rendered out. That's cool. Have a lighter. Fancy finger! Once James puts the lighter together, then he busts out the fancy finger. It needed to be complete. It's really important to document which items have the fancy finger. I mean, it kind of is. It's definitely going down in my notes. Especially because there's very few key items that do that. It's mostly keys. It's mostly, like, keys to locks. There's rules you gotta follow. You know what I mean? Kirimi, thank you for the raid. My raid call is I don't have a raid call. It's all good. I appreciate it. And yeah, shoutouts to Hirimi. Definitely give my good friend Hirimi a follow. My best friend for the last 21 years. Don't. I barely stream unless it's a collab at this point. Follow him out of spite, just because he said not to. You're gonna really let Hirimi tell you what to do? You're gonna listen to that guy? Oh, James's feet are floating above the hole. That's fine. Just trying to take a nice photo here. My James looking into holes photo collection. POV, we're the abyss. We stare back. We are bold enough to stare back at those who stare at us. And now we're back here. Let's go check on Maria. She's gonna still be sitting there, humming. I like that her mouth and everything actually moves. You can see her cheeks and everything, like the muscles twitching and moving while she's humming. It's not just like a sound played over her neutral expression. Manhandle the cube? No, that'll have to wait until tomorrow night. That we will have to save for tomorrow night. But thank you all so much for coming by and hanging out, keeping me company during this stream. I appreciate all the love and support. Again, I cannot tell you all enough how thankful I am. You're literally keeping me alive, enabling me to see doctors, pay for healthcare treatment in this horrible fucking country. So again, Repoison, thank you so much for those gift subs earlier. Tinkerbell with the 32-month resub. Jewel with the brand new tier 1 sub. Alex Fire King with the 62 months. Eric DeFord with your gift sub out to the community and your 31-month resub. Thank you so much. You are keeping me alive. And as long as I'm alive and draw breath, I will continue being a weird, obsessive Silent Hill nerd. But I'm glad you guys enjoy it. And I'm thankful for you guys being here, accompanying me through this journey. Still caught it? Phone in bed, by the way. Awesome stream as always. Try and get some sleep, Kikyo. Work is gonna suck, but I really hope you can get some rest. Put on 12 hours of Brookhaven Rain and fall right to sleep. And of course, links for everyone. If you're not already subscribed to the main YouTube channel, please subscribe. It helps me out. I've also got a secondary channel, the Nub Zombie Archives. We have almost 9,000 subscribers on the main channel and only 344 on the archive channel. So please check out the archives and subscribe if you're not already. Every single one of these streams, completely unedited, is archived there, along with every other playthrough, anything that is not Silent Hill related. So Death Stranding 2 just came out. If you want to see my playthrough of Death Stranding 1, that's on the archive channel. We've been talking about Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all of those types of games here and there. If you want to see my playthroughs of those games, those are on the archive channel. If you want to see basically everything that I've done that's not a Silent Hill story playthrough, that's all 10 years worth of videos are all on that archive stream, as well as all of my early streams. I usually stream twice during the day. So today, earlier in the evening, I played some Phasmophobia. If you want to check out what I was doing in Phasmophobia, looking at all the new updates and stuff, that's there. I've also been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight. That's all up there. And then, of course, the main channel where all the edited content goes. My big project that I'm working on right now is the Silent Hill 1 Iceberg. So I should hopefully have that done, being edited and out to you guys, hopefully in the next month or so. I'm a terrible editor, and it takes me a long time to do things, and it's a very long video. A lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of narration, a lot of finding very particular clips and recording specific things. I've already done like 5 playthroughs of Silent Hill 1 that I've recorded off stream, just to record specific things for this iceberg. So a lot is going into it. Hopefully I can get that video out before the damn remake comes out, at the very least. Let everyone get their refresher course on Silent Hill 1 trivia. And of course our Discord. If you would like to join us over in our community Discord, join me in the graveyard. We have a good time. We nerd out about Silent Hill. We share news. Anytime there's any new interesting info on Silent Hill related stuff, I post it there. And we also just generally talk about whatever. Random video games, pictures of food, pictures of cats, favorite songs, just hang out in general. Plus, it's a good way to keep up with the streams, updates on my health and things like that. So feel free to join us in the Discord. Please check out the YouTube channels if you haven't already. Otherwise, that's it for me. I will be back again tomorrow. Same as today. I'll try to be on probably around 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern. Either with some more Phasmophobia or maybe some Dead by Daylight. And 9 p.m. Eastern, we will start Silent Hill 2. So that'll be Silent Hill 2 Remake Cam Hack Day 25. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Our next leg of the labyrinth will be explored. So, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate you. And till I see you next time, be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Much love. And peace.